gentlemen, welcome to season 1, episode 2 of the Three Stack podcast. You are being hosted by the hugest of pwners. With me, as always, is Boom Razzle and Candy Roo. Being our second episode, we do not have a guest yet, but there are plans for maybe
Lots of plans.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can't wait.
Maybe the third or fourth episode, we will be joined with a very special guest that you probably know, have probably heard of. We're going to keep it under wraps for now, right, Candy? We're not going to go spilling the beans just yet.
I didn't sign an NDA. You can't make me.
Oh, God. All right.
So
it's
what's on
gonna
the
be
docket today, Poner? You lay it on us.
Season 5, baby. Season 5. It is finally here, and we've had 48 hours to digest. Almost.
Let's see.
Yes.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus.
close to it at least. So Tuesday at 1. It is currently 8 p.m. on Thursday. So about a full day and a half. And I feel like I've played easily for 16 hours.
Would you say this is your favorite patch, Poner?
Yes. Okay. So
Season, rather?
hands down, this is the best patch, the best balancing, everything.
You're just saying that because Pathfinder got his balls cut off.
I would say that this is a perfect patch. You know, they were 99% there. There was just one. Yeah, we'll get to it, but
Yeah,
it's just
we'll get to that
one
later.
big problem. Other than that, perfect. One
Spoiler
mistake.
alert. Boom is the Pathfinder, man.
Exactly. All right. So that little thing, we're gonna get to that because that's a big part of this patch. But hands down, I would like to greatly applaud Respawn Entertainment for the content that they've dropped. There's content still on the way with quests.
I haven't done. I think one's out. You can actually do one, right? Like the first one.
I think it might be out Saturday.
No.
We need two more treasure packs.
Yes, you need 5 treasure packs, which are renewable each day.
I'm pretty sure I could start like the prologue or something.
Yeah, I think
it's a dialogue. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
okay.
talking more like the PvE. You're actually in the game doing something as opposed to there is content available now if you pick up a treasure pack, but it's just like Boom said, it's like a dialogue thing. What about Kings Canyon for this season? What do you guys think? What do you think about the map changes?
Freaking love it. Like I think they did. Like honestly, it feels like a new map. Like I feel like they took like what was. I mean, honestly, like if you really think about it on paper, we get 3 new locations, no new weapon, 1 new legend. But it honestly feels like a whole new map, 2 new legends because of Mirage, and the Mastiff being a common pool weapon. That's almost like a new weapon because I don't know. It's like I get to use the Mastiff every day. I don't know. I think they did really good with the patch content wise overall, and Kings Canyon just feels like a completely new area. And honestly, I still miss Skulltown, but I mean, I like how dense it is. It is now. Like I don't know if you notice, like near where wetlands used to be, and like the swamp black forest thing, like that used to be kind of just like hills and like weird prowler nests and stuff. But now it's like it's got like little facilities and buildings and stuff. I don't know. I feel like the loot feels good too, right? Like I'm never without loot.
Yeah, I feel like any location I land at, I almost always get at least one of the weapons that I'm generally looking for, either a Wingman or an R9 or a PK or a Mastiff, I should say now. And I usually have decent armor, decent attachments. You know, I'm not end game ready by any one location,
Right.
but yeah, no, I completely agree. And plus, there's so many rotations, like with Sing Labs being connected to capacitor with that back door next to the Wraith portal, and the outside of the Wraith portal area at Sing Labs being much more fleshed out. It's like you land there and it's not like everyone dies right away because they're all scrambling to grab stuff. It's like you can hide behind a building, you can go inside Sing Labs and like go out the back door, you can hit the portal and take it to Swamp or Hydra. Like there's so many more options.
And if you're running, like, if you have to bail from a town because another team got there first, like, the next town over isn't, like, 50 miles away. Yes. It's honestly, you can quickly get to another set of buildings. So,
yeah, there's a lot more interconnectivity with a lot of the locations and the unnamed spots. And
I kind of wish they would put more stuff in the bottom right, but I'm assuming they will probably add like new locations throughout the season, like how they did with Bloodhound and Mirage and Octane and Wraith.
Yeah,
they might
town
add
takeover.
Yeah, thank you. They might add something the lower right.
Yeah, I could see it. Are you talking about near Repulsor and like water treatment?
Yeah.
What about near Skulltown? To me, that feels like the biggest gap right now. You have Octane's rework, and then you have, what was it called? Scrapyard? Scavenge?
Salvage.
Yeah. I feel like it'd be really cool. It's an S. It'd be really neat if they added maybe like some floating area. I could see them putting something over by Skulltown. That's possibly like a giant floating ship or something. To me, that's where the gap feels, because I'm really feeling the lack of Thunderdome and Skulltown. But I love what they did in the upper right. What is it, the northeast part of the corner, where it's like relay and wetland?
Yep.
It's just an amalgam of looting. So I think I'm most excited just to see in like the competitive scene, like who's landing where, because it just seems like a whole mess of areas where you can find loot in the upper right of the map. So I think, I don't know, there's going to be a lot of overlap between areas because it just kind of is continuous through like the center of the map. So
yeah, I think they want to shift. I think they want to shift like the density of the map anyways, from like the lower left to the upper right.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people talking about like they're unfamiliar with the flow of the game right now. Like games are kind of going a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. I think people are trying to figure out like, where do I land now that Skulltown is gone? So at least now people are waiting longer in the ship, and it's feeling a little bit more like a battle royale than it is like COD multiplayer, where people just like drop anywhere. As hot as possible.
You can land anywhere in King's Canyon; it'll feel good. Like, I don't know. I think King's Canyon is probably. I think I prefer King's Canyon over World's Edge. Like, I always thought World's Edge could support 80 players, and they just kind of filled it with a few more buildings, like what they did with King's Canyon Season 5. Like,
I really feel like a lot of empty space now too.
Yeah, no, it does. It's huge, and I don't know. I just like King's Canyon a lot, especially now. So
what Jokey and I have noticed, especially in our duo games, is the area where Skulltown used to be, like the surrounding spots, not necessarily Octane or Salvage, but the areas in between those. Even that, it's viable to land there, loot up. Yeah, and then either third-party Octane or third-party Salvage. And,
I like Octane's place; it's nice.
Yeah, and you're usually pretty good to go just to third it. Like we've landed there a few times in duos just to experiment with the idea that like maybe we don't land named locations right now in that west side of the map. And it's been really good. So yeah, I mean, even though Skulltown's gone, I feel like there's more places to land, and I think that's the design choice of Respawn, is like too many people are landing hot Skulltown all the time. I'm really happy with the map changes. I think it's fantastic. They did a great job. Moving on to, what do you guys think about the new user interface for looting and for Loba and her ultimate?
Boom, you want to take this one?
I just think it's wild how like quickly you can get used to something. So I mean, I think I've played it's like embarrassing. So what, it's been out like 48 hours, like 56 hours or something. I think I've played like at least a third of the time. I think I've at least played 20 hours the first 3 days. And I'm completely desensitized to it. So if I swapped back to the old loot inventory system, I think that would be like unfamiliar to me. I think there might be some tweaks. I'm not really sure like the design philosophy behind it, like why they made the change. Poner brought up maybe it's because of like Loba's loot stick.
I think it's because of Loba's loot stick,
and maybe for like the new player experience. But I, more than one occasion, I had trouble armor swapping. So, you know, you're in a fight, you take a little bit of damage, you go up to a death box and you try to armor swap. I have gotten punished once or twice because I'm like a little bit lost. And then also early on, I was forgetting to pick up bullets because they're in a completely different location, like outside of the scrolling. They're like on their own
panels.
Yeah, it's a good word for it. So that was confusing at first, but I mean, after 3 days, I think I'm completely used to it. So I think it was overall a pretty positive, if not just maybe neutral change to me.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I mean, I don't want to, harp on my own point, but I'm pretty confident that that design choice was because of the boutique. How do you fit so much information into such a small
Could you
UI
imagine?
space?
Yeah, on the old UI, you would have been scrolling forever, like
Yeah,
literally forever.
exactly, and I'm confident that's why they made it. Maybe one day Respawn will confirm that their UI UX team if they call it that.
I
Um,
think they should like the ammo part. It has like all ammo types. They should only have
yes,
the ammos that is available displayed. Like I don't know. It's kind of confusing if you have like if you see energy and shotgun, the label
And
there,
there's none of it.
but it's none of it. Yeah, it's grayed out. I mean, maybe it's just something I got to get used to, but I don't know.
well, again, going back to Loba's loot stick, how many times you drop that thing and you see none of any ammo type? I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but probably
Right.
more times than not, it'd be more jarring if like those areas were different sizes for light, heavy,
Yeah.
shotgun, energy. Yeah,
In
I mean,
different
I don't
different
know.
places and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
then you're clicking, and I've noticed also they're always in the same spot. Light's always in the same spot. Heavy's always in the same spot. So I think for comp, especially if
Yeah.
people start running low, but they're gonna like just instinctively just move their mouse to where they need to go and click it, even if there's nothing there, just because they don't want to have to think about, you know, I dropped my ult and I need shotgun ammo. This is where shotgun ammo is on my screen. I'm gonna click that as fast as I possibly can without even seeing if it's there. Maybe that's the design choice, but yeah, I don't know. I don't, yeah, but I feel the same way as Boom. It's like it's neutral for me. I'm already used to it, but it's not like this is great, it was a little weird at first, honestly, but I'm used to it as well.
Yeah. That's a good change overall.
Um, what about so okay, here's one thing. Um, you guys have
Oh boy.
both played Loba. I've played Loba. Um, has the meta changed?
I don't think
Mm,
so. Well, because of Loba, I don't think
Yes.
so. But for other reasons, it has. But I think I think she's a good like on release day kind of character. Like I like her a lot more than release day Octane, Watson, Revenant, and Crypto. Especially Revenant. I think Revenant was a huge letdown.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Loba, like her ult is a little weak. I think that they need to remove the 2 items, or maybe even make at least 4 or 5. I think 2 is too little. But like her Q is so
Yeah.
fun. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's cool. Yeah. I think she's kind of like the first person who gets like a mobility ability and then like a utility ability. Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking about like Pathfinder and Octane. I guess like Revenant to a certain extent. Yeah. It's cool that she can move around. And then for the ultimate, I completely agree. Like, 2 is a weird choice to me. It makes me think that they play tested it and thought that 3 or 4 was too strong. But at the same time, it seems like such an easy choice to like, oh, just make her stronger, make it 3, make her stronger, make it 4. Like at a certain point, it will be broken if you can just pull out a perfectly kitted gun. But right now, 2, I think instead of making it like it's a difficult decision that I have to be making right now, instead, I'm like, I'm just inconvenienced. This isn't as strong as I thought. I got the larger mag and the better armor, but now I'm going to go scrounge around and waste my time looking for a couple other items that I also wanted. So I'm a little bit underwhelmed, and I don't think the pros are going to be running her in
I
a
think for
week.
the pros to run her, she would have to have unlimited looting in her stick. Maybe make longer cooldown. But
Mhm.
I think it takes something pretty massive to upstage a Gibraltar Wraith Watson. You know, I don't know. I also think their Q, a little bracelet, needs to be less flashy. Like if you can see, if you see like an enemy bracelet, it has like the whole line. It's like a shooting star. Like I think they need to have that shit turned off for enemies. I don't know. I think she's good, but I think a few tweaks could make her really, really good and kind of really switch up the meta.
Yeah.
I'm not like a professional player or anything, but I would love to see Loba in like competitive play.
Yeah,
Even
so I
Yeah.
was watching Alperlele play her, and I think it was a little bit of protest on his part, but he also was just basically experimenting with, okay, if Pathfinder has taken this nerf, is Loba gonna be someone who's viable in competitive play? So they were playing her in ranked. Obviously, you're not going to play her in comp right away. There's not even a tournament going on at the moment. But he was actually like in ranked. I was watching him play her to pretty good success. He was getting creative with the bracelet, using it when only necessary. You can throw it through windows, even the barred windows,
Yep.
and that's really strong. Like if a Caustic ults you and you just bracelet out and you flank them from a completely unexpected position, that's huge. Like I think in pubs especially, ranked, yes. Um, and I mean, watching him play, I don't really think anyone's going to be playing her seriously in competitive. You're not going to see in the ALGS finals that are coming up soon. I don't think you're going to see a Loba, but I mean, I could be wrong as well. You never know. Maybe it's going to happen. I think
Yeah.
there's going to be some more play testing. Interestingly enough, though, Imperial Hal, I was watching his stream as well.
How much time do you have, Poner? Holy shit.
I'm not working right now, so I got a lot of extra time right now, buddy. Listening to Hal explain the Pathfinder nerf versus Loba, is Loba going to be in comp? His personal opinion is no. This changes nothing. Pathfinder's nerf, is more or less a pub and ranked thing. In comp, you still have his passive. You still have
His ult. His ult is so
his
good.
ult is extremely good for getting teams where they need to be. It's really good for third partying people. And it's like you can't grapple quite as often, but when you need to grapple, you need to grapple. It
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of when Wraith got her Q nerf. It was like, okay, I can't spam I can't spam myself into a phase, but I'll just phase when I really need to. Like I need to really be picky and choosy. I think that's now that we're transitioning the conversation to Loba v Pathfinder nerf versus Loba, is the meta different now? I think that's what
It's just like
Pathfinder mains are
a
going to
play
have to get
style
used to.
change, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm not a Pathfinder main. I don't see a huge difference with Pat, so I kind of want Boone to express his feelings and really, vent how he's feeling about this right now.
Oh, I can vent all right. No, I was thinking about it earlier, and I was just like, wow, I've really gone through the stages of grief with Pathfinder. It was depression.
You were in denial?
Oh. Yeah. Wait, it starts with denial, doesn't it? Depression, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. And I think I've made it full swing to acceptance. I tried out Loba for a little bit, Mirage, Bloodhound, and really like I've landed back on Pathfinder. To me, it's a big inconvenience. It's quality of life, and it's just kind of like overall enjoyment. Those things have gone down playing Pathfinder because his grapple to me is just pure joy. Like I like just playing around with it, but when you get into a firefight, it was overpowered. Just they mentioned that it was the rotations mid fight that Pathfinder made possible. That was why they nerfed it. Mm-hmm. So basically, he's able to reposition too frequently during the same fight, which caused the imbalance. And I do agree. I think the 35-second may be putting him in the penalty box for being tier 1 meta, part of the big 3 that you kind of always have to run for too long. He kind of had over a year in the limelight. So that kind of sucks because I think that they were a little heavy-handed, but I think I've come around to seeing that he is still viable. And yeah, you just have to be more choosy when you're grappling.
I think 25 might have been okay. Honestly, I think Wraith and Pathy should have had their queues set to 25. I think 30. I think 30 seconds plus is way too long.
I think that's the one thing that I was coming back to. When was it? 3 months ago, I think now. When Wraith first got her queue, nerf down to 35 seconds after it had already been nerfed a little bit prior. And then we both nerf and Pathfinder also got low profile, and then they added limb damage being full damage on top of that. It was
I don't think Pathy even needs low profile anymore.
Yeah,
that is a bit excessive now, but we'll see if they retool it.
Yeah, because Pathfinder's larger than Wraith by a good margin.
Well, they did it because his hitbox was all like Swiss cheese back in the day when his skins weren't lining up with his actual hitbox.
And they've now fixed that.
They've now fixed that, right?
They fixed that and made him a lot less mobile. Yeah. So I think that could probably go, but we'll see. But what were you saying, Poner, about the Wraith nerf?
Yeah, so with the Wraith nerf, it only made sense to me if you're gonna nerf Wraith that hard with her Q, why? Like, I'm gonna just be honest. Like, Pathfinder's Q is better than Wraith's Q in a lot of circumstances outside of competitive play. Like in ranked and in pubs, I'm more scared of Pathfinder than I am of Wraith. Now, when you get into comp play and you get a really, really good, I hate using the name all the time, but Hal, one of the best Wraiths in the world. When he uses his Q, it's because he needs to use the Q, and it's super effective every time. It's like that Pokemon thing where Hal uses Q. It's super effective.
It's critical.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of players don't see it like that. And so for me, having a Pathfinder grapple cooldown of 35 seconds brings him more in line with Wraith, and it makes it a little bit more fair, especially with a lot of other legends like Bloodhounds.
What the hell? Why was this 30? Why was it 35 or something?
Your Q was 35, and it's just a scan. It's a temporary scan. Like, I know there's a team in this building. Like, it's not that important.
They lowered it though, didn't they?
They did, and I applaud that change as well. I think that was worth it, and I think they're starting to see like why Wraith, why Pathfinder, why Gibby, why are these characters used more than others every lobby you get into, and it's their Qs, it's the ability, and it's the smile that it puts on the face of the player behind that legend. Like Boom was saying with the Pathfinder grapple. It's fun to use. It's not because he's less viable. It's just because I don't want to have to crawl up this rock face. I want to grapple above it and get ahead of my
slingshot
squad
across the map.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Is I feel like I'm so pedestrian now. Like I find myself walking places and I'm like, oh, what a chore. I used to
take the bus. Ew.
I used to way overextend, and I used to catch up with my
I used to have
grapple.
my private jet.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of people were upset. But to all the Pathfinder mains out there, us Wraith mains, we feel your pain, but it's gonna get better. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be playing Pathfinder for the foreseeable future. He's not nerfed to the ground quite yet, and I think a lot of people are overreacting at first. I did the same thing. As someone who's been there, I'm with you, but this is your new reality. Suck it up, Buttercup. I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay. Can we talk about a different legend for a second?
Oh my God.
Pathfinders, be strong. They'll undo the nerf, I swear. I promise. I've got it on good word.
Not happening.
Oh, man. But meanwhile, in the Candyverse...
Oh, no. I haven't played him.
I think... That's a really strong buff to Caustic, man.
I played
with Sam on our team. Like, yeah, it's funny because Poner, it had gotten so frustrating. I think Poner is maybe just the most vocal about how annoying it can be to have a Caustic on your team because the gas gets in your eyes and it physically slows you down. I have strong opinions in games, especially in the design of stun mechanics. Like when things damage you and slow you down, I think that that's really dangerous territory. And right now, it's only Caustic Gas and Arc Stars.
Arc Stars are kind of
electric things because even Watson's fence is like there's an other side to the fence, whereas the gas, like it's kind of hard to tell where the hitbox is. Like sometimes I think I'm out of it and I'll get the stinging sound. But oh my God, when an Arc Star sticks on you, slows you down, and then damages you when it goes off. Like it's just so much. And then similar with the Caustic Gas.
Don't say too much, Boom, because they're gonna nerf the Arc Stars next.
No, that's not what I mean, Respawn. But I'm happy that they made Caustic a smidge stronger without overdoing it, because he is the closest character, I think, to being broken. What do you think, Candy?
I don't know. I want them to not touch it for a little bit, you know, just look the other way for a little bit, because I don't know. I want my boy to shine. You know what I mean? And I haven't played much Caustic because I've been doing Mirage and Loba, but it seems like more of a thing. It's gonna sound silly, but it seems this buff seems like less of like a direct power boost and more just like I just feel like, oh good, I can play Caustic with Poner on my team and he won't be mad anymore.
I got nothing to complain about anymore,
Thank God.
buddy.
Also, quick thing. This does not relate to anything we're talking about, but I was just on Twitch because I just had it pulled up, and there's literally someone named iJokey_V2 streaming right now. And it's some random. I think he's like a Russian guy. I wasn't really listening.
Huge Jokey fan. He's the number 2 Gibby.
I just posted it in a Discord. Look at that. He literally has iJokey with the 2 E's V2 version 2. Do you see that shit?
Yeah.
He's French. She's French. Sorry. It's incredible. Like what?
Weirdly enough, I think I've seen this guy before. That is very weird.
No, but he has an in-game Jokey with 2 E's. Like, what are the chances of that? That's incredible.
He's got some viewers too.
I think the weirdest thing is he's partnered.
Is he? Oh, I should send it to Jokey. See what he thinks.
I just posted it to our Amigos Discord.
Let's see what Jokey says. He's gonna show him the guy's chat and just like, you know, give it to him.
Who the fuck is this?
I was surprised. I was like, oh man, does Jokey stream now? That's incredible, but I guess not.
But Jokey has said before that he that it's somewhat of a common name because of Heath Ledger's Joker. That he's like, I think that's why he puts the 2 eyes, because it's the first one was taken and another one was taken. So I'm just gonna assume this is a super fan.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Only plausible reasoning. What the hell are we talking about?
We were talking about your boy Caustic, brother.
Yeah, dude. I need to play him some more. I don't know. I'm excited. I mean, he just seems to me like a stronger Bangalore right now, and I have a feeling that people are going to start complaining about him, which is going to be kind of sad. Because I don't
think he's that broken at all, honestly.
Okay.
Well, everything has different levels, right? Like casual, ranked.
We saw it
maybe even scrim, and then competitive, and Caustic was starting to make an appearance in competitive because of that final circle ability of where are you gonna go, like when it's a 6 feet wide circle, and now if your teammates can move around in that really amplifies his power level. So
I
sure,
think
casually,
I think it should stay, honestly. Like even if it's a little too strong, like if they gave Gibraltar all 5 Infinity Stones, like it should be fine for Caustic to have this small buff, because like now Gibby is like a top pick in a lot of these tournaments, and I think I wouldn't mind seeing Caustic up there, you know.
Yeah, I mean Caustic's still kind of like a meme character for the pro scene. I believe it's Alliance, which is an EU team. They've actually done extremely well running Caustic. I saw it with my own eyes, them winning one of the ALGS final circles at what was it, Lava City, and it was just because they threw down a single barrel and they ulted, and that was it. And their Wraith portal dance, and that was it. That's how they won. You know, one thing about Caustic too that we discovered recently was there's actually a bug with Caustic's gas where
it is bugged.
Yeah, and we tested it in the firing range. Basically, if an enemy Caustic is already doing damage to someone and you third party them, and you also start doing Caustic gas damage to that same person, it ticks at the same exact rate that the other team's Caustic gas is already ticking at. So you can throw
it. Doesn't add? doesn't add anything.
No, maybe it's because in the game logic, it's saying, okay, this person's taking caustic gas, so it ticks for 5, it ticks for 6, it ticks for 7, and then let's say you third party and you alt in the same building where those people are getting damaged.
It starts to count at whatever.
It starts to count at whatever the other caustic gas.
That's so good,
dude. It's unreal. So we were testing it with Sam Woodhall in the firing range on Boom stream, and Sam threw a caustic gas trap down. It started ticking Boom. It started up, 5, 6, whatever. I threw my trap down. It immediately started ticking for 10, and Boom went down instantly. It was crazy. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's a bug. Yeah, it's something that's going to have to be addressed for comp play, because if Alliance is going to run Caustic and other teams start running Caustic, that's going to be a game-breaking change for End Circle.
Yeah. I don't know. I hate it when people say, "Oh man, his gas traps aren't, or his gas isn't counterable," which, I mean, it is and it isn't. Like, I don't know. I've just been screwed so many times. Like, I know the weaknesses of that gas, which is like, if the other team literally just stays outside and just chucks in grenades, like it's not ideal.
Yeah, I think the counter for Caustic is you are an aggressive squad.
Right?
Caustic squads are defensive by nature. So yeah, I mean, I don't care that there's not a legend that's like a complete foil to Caustic. It's not unnecessary at this point. Maybe one day we get there, but for now, I'm completely cool with it. And honestly, like Loba is a great counter to Caustic. She can use her bracelet, go through a window, she's out. Easy peasy.
Mm-hmm.
I had an awful experience playing Loba against a Caustic, because I didn't know I was fighting a Caustic, and I thought I was being so cool, throwing my bracelet into a window, and they just trapped the whole place, and I had to walk out. I don't know how this guy didn't kill me, but somehow I managed to stumble out of the building, and Jokey clutched it for us, obviously, like he always does. But yeah, Loba can get you in a lot of trouble. I think just a little tangential, but we're still talking about legends. Maybe it'd be wicked broken, but easy buff to Loba, give her 2 bracelets and maybe have like a cooldown in them, so she throws, it takes 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Just like a Bangalore smoke, just like a caustic trap. There's plenty of stackable queues for players. And especially in its current state where, like you said, you're throwing a shooting star across the sky, and then it takes you 3 seconds to like snap out of it before you're done with your hand dance, and you can actually pull out a weapon. I've killed so many people experimenting with Lobas. I feel bad.
Yeah.
But they just explode in front of you, and it's just like they're useless for 3.5 seconds.
Sprint. You can't sprint immediately, I don't think.
You're standing still for moments. It's just too long. So
even as a Loba is casting her Q, she can't even run. Like, I can't tell you how many Lobas have panic queued trying to get away from me, and
it slows you down.
Yeah, and I just like beam them, and they get knocked as they're queued. I mean, it's happened to me too, of course, where I throw my bracelet, I get knocked when the bracelet hasn't touched the ground yet because I can't do anything.
Yeah.
So I think her Q is good, but there's something not quite right with it yet, where it's
kind of clunky.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, but it's not like, it's not a Pathfinder grapple. It's not a Wraith phase. It's cool. It's not there yet.
Yeah. When you pop out of phase, how long does it take before you can like start shooting? Like
there's a little
down sight.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay, and there's a little bit of a delay casting the phase. And there's some rumors that the kunai, having a kunai equipped, actually delays it even more. And I thought
they fixed that.
Nah, I don't think so. I remember when I first got my kunai, I started realizing, why is my Q a little bit slower? Like, it feels delayed. Like,
I'm pretty sure they fixed that. I remember that bug. It was
I don't think so, because Hal and them unequipped their kunais recently because they still think it's a problem, and I don't disagree. There's something weird with Wraith when she casts her Q. Like, if you try to do it while you're mantling something, it cancels it completely. You have to recast Q again. When you're in a gunfight and you hit Q, sometimes it feels immediate, and sometimes it feels like it takes just a brief moment longer. It's not much, but it's enough sometimes where I've literally been knocked. I've gotten knocked as I hit my Q, and I'm phased, but I'm knocked. It's nutty.
Yeah.
I think Boom saw it too for himself. I think you knocked a Wraith recently the other day, but she was invisible. Like it's just it's the weirdest thing. I don't know.
I wouldn't know. I don't get to play Wraith that much because you play Wraith all the time, Boner. So I'm kidding.
What are you trying to say, buddy? You can play
really
Wraith.
Quiet. I was like, all right. I'll just bail out. I'll tap.
If you want her, you can have her.
I don't want to play Wraith. Like I got Loba. Oh man. I can you guys game leader tonight?
Yeah.
Actually, no. Boom's in trouble. No, you can't.
Well, I might be. We'll see.
Jokey's on. We can play.
All right. Cool.
Anyway, so yeah, we've been on this tangent for a while, but
the next thing is like weapon bounces, right? Like covered legends.
Yeah.
Weapons got a massive makeover.
Kind of. We didn't talk about Mirage and Bloodhound.
Oh, God.
I think Mirage,
Mirage is a whole new character now.
Holy fuck, did they do a good job with Mirage? He is so good now. He's so fun.
I honestly, it's kind of funny because I was making a Mirage video the other day, and like I kept forgetting to use his abilities because I just assumed that they were bad. Like I was just so used to his abilities being fucking dog shit, and like his abilities are actually really good. Like, and I'm really glad with how they did it. But I don't know if he's gonna be like a competitive pick. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not. He's not gonna be a competitive pick, but he's pretty good in ranked and in pubs. He's fun.
He's fun. I mean, he helps win a lot of like 1v1s or team fights. Just that confusion is kind of nice.
Yes,
but I feel like the power of rotations with the portal and the zipline ult is just too strong in like super high skill tournaments. I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to realize that if you use Mirage's Q and then you hit H, I think it is on keyboard. I don't know what it is on controller, where he mimics your movement. That's pretty good. That's way better than just sending a stupid decoy out in a random direction.
Yep.
But his ult is nutty. I got into a fight with a Mirage recently. I had knocked 2 on the enemy squad. Mirage was the last one, and he ulted. And I was panicking. Like, I didn't know what to do.
Do you think over time people are going to get used to it, though?
Yeah. I think just like with original Mirage, people thought he was really cool, really fun, really good. And I think over time, you're just going to get used to it. And you're going to start seeing these little tiny things where it's like, that's a decoy, that's a decoy, that's a decoy. That might be the actual player, but that's probably the player right there. And like, you're just going to make that instinctive shoot that guy. If you're wrong, it's not that big of a deal. You can immediately snap to the next guy if you're good enough,
Right.
So, and for that reason, I don't think he's going to be in comp.
At least now it feels as if he's finally the Mirage that he was supposed to be.
Yeah, and he was kind of janky at first.
I mean, looking at him how he was, it's kind of embarrassing seeing like now he's a true bamboozler. And like you were saying, Poner, with like people are going to be figuring out what is a decoy. Before, it was just so recognizable, just running in a straight line, unless it's a Mirage taking a huge gamble pretending to be a decoy. Now it's at least like a higher level of like critical thinking. Because now I'm seeing so there's a dozen decoys created or whatever. I'll see a guy mantling or something, so I'll go like, oh, he's not near anything that needs to be mantled or hopped over or whatever.
Why do you
a decoy.
Calling it mantling something? Is that, you mean vaulting over something?
That's the same thing.
Oh, really?
It's a synonym.
Yeah, it's a cinnamon.
Okay.
So anyway, climbing, vaulting, mantling, chandeliering an object. Now you're able to recognize that a lot faster. So it's kind of fun seeing like, oh, like a Mirage wouldn't be doing that in this situation. Like, why is he hopping? He's in an open field. That's a decoy.
Did you say chandeliering?
Yeah, I was just trying to mess with Candy.
Yeah, no, I'm still like looking up each word that he just said. Like, okay, how do you spell chandelier? Could it be used as a synonym as for vaulting?
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I think all the other legends, they're trying to buff them. You know, everyone keeps saying like, "I wish they would buff and stop nerfing." It's like, okay, dumbass, they are. I mean, I hate to say it's like that, but it's like, look at where Mirage used to be. Look at him today. Look at Bloodhound where it used to be. Look at him today. Look at even Octane. Even Octane's ult got a buff.
Right.
What was that buff?
His
jump
ult
pad.
cooldown.
Is
Yes,
lower.
way lower. Yeah,
good.
they
Yeah, that's
halved
cool.
it.
It's a minute.
That's cool. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's still like one of the worst legends in the game right now. I don't care who thinks Octane is good. He's not. You're wrong.
They're
I
adding
think
more
he's
stuff for Octane, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah,
on the
like-
way?
Yeah,
Like, have they teased what specifically?
No, they said we have more updates planned, but they didn't make the cutoff for this patch. So
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, Octane, he's one of the weaker legends by far, but I'm interested to see what they have in store for him. I think, like most of the other legends, he'll be good for pubs. He'll be good for screwing around in ranked in the right hands, but in comp and tourneys, it's nothing's changed. You're gonna see either teams running Wraith Watson with a Gibby or Wraith Watson with a Pathfinder, and that's all. And I think that meta is the one that they're really scared to break, because if they nerf Watson to the ground for comp, it's gonna completely change like the events that people are tuning into on Twitch for the most. ALGS right now. It's gonna just completely change the game.
they already
It'll-
tried to nerf Watson's ult though by changing the entire inventory system. Do you remember that from season 4? Hurts my soul to talk about it. The stacks and the grenades being less,
Yeah, but it seemed less of a nerf to Watson and more of a nerf to everyone else fighting Watson. It was like
Yeah.
it was like backwards. I still don't understand why they did.
That's a good
I mean,
point,
I'm
actually.
The logic
yeah.
they had was they would take grenade stacks from 2 a stack to 1 a stack, and that was a nerf to Watson because she's less important because grenade spam is not a thing. It did not compute for me.
Oh yeah, but
I wish that
yeah.
they would have just said grenades are too powerful because people can spam them, but instead there was like this kind of twisted, half-baked like Watson nerf.
Yeah.
I personally didn't appreciate that. Maybe they genuinely felt that way. I don't know.
Pros run Watson not because they're stopping grenades and ults. That's a benefit. They're running Watson to stop pushes through doorways and entryways. And then, so they also don't have to have a ton of bats. They also don't have to have a ton of shield cells. You just pop her Jenny in a safe spot so it doesn't get broken. You carry an ult cell with you, and then that's it.
You defend.
You just let your shields recharge themselves, and then you do some poke damage.
I
And
wish Caustic's
that's
gas
it.
would heal himself slowly, like Watson's for shield. That'd be nice.
that would be kind of nutty.
He's so nice.
So nice. I mean, honestly, that would. I mean, if it's health and not
Yeah, just
shields,
health. Yeah, not shield, just health.
he is now the foil to Watson.
Yep.
Like, do you loot and pick up, shield healing, or do you loot and pick up, health healing because you have? Yeah, no, that's great. That's a good idea, actually.
Respawn. You're listening.
Respawn. Write it down.
Write it down. Write it down.
I don't know. I think the 2 games of Valorant we played, Candy was just playing Phoenix, and
No, I didn't play Phoenix.
he got happy with throwing his fire at his feet.
Oh my gosh, shut up. I barely played Phoenix. I was playing that other chick.
Joke's
Viper.
over. You're dead.
Bruv. Mate.
You're dead, bruv. Oi.
You're dead, bruv.
Flashbang going out. Anyway.
You fucking what, mate?
Jesus Christ.
Low key though, playing Valorant, Phoenix was like, I didn't like him.
He was very irritating. He had like, for the first time, I heard an unattractive English accent, and I didn't think that would ever happen. But it was just very annoying. It sounded like he had like rocks stuck up his nose, and he was trying to talk. It was really bad.
It's like Cockney English.
I don't know. It just sounded bad. So.
So anyway, do you guys want to talk about some of the weapon balance or imbalance in some
ready.
cases?
I'm glad skullpiercer's back.
Me freaking too, buddy.
I'm blown away. I
Should've put it on
didn't
Sentinel,
think
though.
they had it in them.
They should have put it on the Sentinel, in my opinion.
Oh.
Well, the Sentinel got shadow buffed because they didn't have it in the patch notes at first. It's shield cells, not bats now.
There's
That
two shield
charges-
cells.
Two cells gives you the disruptor rounds, which is cool, but like it's still a shit weapon.
I haven't done it yet. Does it take both cells like at once, or do you need to? Is it like you hit 2 cells?
It's like you
Like
don't have
one,
to
then 2.
individually hit them. You charge it, and it says it took 2 cells. Remember that game we played
Nice.
not long ago where I was like, you guys got shield cells? It was because I didn't know that I was wasting all of them. I kept charging my freaking Sentinel, and like in anticipation of a fight. And then it would just slowly tinker down. And I think that's the one buff that they need to give the Sentinel is like, don't let it just sit there and decay. If I charge my Sentinel, it should be charged and ready to go.
Yes, I don't like the decay. It feels like they still have some things in the game that's almost like they play tested it a little bit, and now they set the way that it works in anticipation of it being too strong, and that's one of them. I think the bullets now can be permanently charged. Like the decay, I don't know. It's not necessary. The permanent charge will make it viable.
Also, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I'm gonna do it. I called it on the Pathfinder nerf. I knew that was coming, but the alternator mag size buff, I almost creamed in my pants with personal delight that I had literally said that 2 days prior to the patch.
Does it make it that good though? I don't think so.
No, I mean it's still an attachment holder for the R9, but it was what the alternator needed to be viable. Again, like if I haven't found an R99 or a 301 even, but I have an alternator. Like the only thing that I could have thought of back then was like you have to increase the mag size. Like if I've got a purple mag in the alternator, I should be able to have 40 rounds at my disposal before reloading. That's just my personal opinion. I think what they did is a step in the right direction. I don't think it's enough. Like if you had an alternator with like 40 rounds in the mag with a purple mag, I think that's enough. I think that's enough.
40 rounds?
Dude,
It's like a drum magazine, dude.
So okay, we got a Spitfire. The Spitfire's got 55 in the mag. What's the difference?
I mean,
people just blah all the time with the Spitfire.
I think they want the alternator to be like like a power level weapon where it's like obviously weaker. I wouldn't mind a light machine, like a light machine gun. Wow, that's a mouthful. You know what I mean, though, right? A light ammo, light machine gun.
Yeah. But the alternator could be that, a more accurate, a smaller version.
That's gonna be
but a banana clip, dude, like a Ugandan warlord banana clip, just hanging out the bottom of that motherfucker. Oh my god, that would be so
dragging on
fun.
The floor.
I mean, like it's like the alternator's gone through like these weird phases where Disruptor was there and it was absolutely OP. Like just insanely overpowered on release.
I thought Disruptor rounds was balanced on the RE, but not balanced on the alternator. Like I think fine on the RE.
I mean, there's a lot of people that disagree with that, and they're like, "Oh, the RE45 Candy, the RE45 was actually much better than alternator."
No,
okay, nerd, shut your
stupid.
face. Yeah, you're being a dumb. You're being a dumb.
Yeah.
The alternator was obviously the better of the two. But
definitely. Well, at the same time, it did get a 1 damage buff. We're not talking about this particular patch, by the way, people. We're talking about a previous patch where it got disrupt rounds, and I think it got a damage boost per bullet, like a 1 damage, or maybe 1 or 2 damage.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but yeah, it did get buffed overall.
Yeah, it was crazy. What about the Havoc, guys? What do you think?
Broken. Absolutely broken. To me,
it feels worse. It feels less accurate, honestly.
So to me, a really good player, it doesn't. I don't notice a difference. Like the recoil, like there's a couple times.
You just call yourself a really good player.
A couple times.
Okay.
A couple times I sprayed it, and I was like, okay, I missed a little bit of that spray, but I mean the Havoc is just.
I miss turbocharger.
It's crazy.
I miss turbocharger.
Yeah, I mean turbo was really good, absolutely. But it's still broken. I can't tell you how many teams I've absolutely just dicked on with the Havoc. Didn't even have to reload. It's nuts. So
although that is our experience on mouse and keyboard, I have it on good authority that the Havoc, that first 2 bullet increased recoil was part of the nerf. I guess on controller, you feel it a lot more. Maybe those first 2 bullets kind of take you outside the realm of what's that controller hack called?
Aimbot.
Aimbot.
Yeah.
No, aim assist, where it kind of helps you on aim assist. I think the first 2 bullets, it really messes up controller apparently. So I think like on console and possibly maybe for controller players, like I haven't seen a lot of of the top controller players like Noct or Kine or anything use it yet. But I'd be curious to hear what they think about it, because Jokey at least said that it doesn't feel the same. It still is just like barfing down damage downrange for me. But dude, this gun meta is so healthy. I feel like I could run anything, even guns like alternator RE45, which are supposed to be placeholders. Sometimes in pubs, it's fun to just run them, and they get the job done.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do think this is the healthiest meta we've seen yet in terms of weapons. There's still some, like, snipers are in a really weird spot still.
They need to buff the mag size. I can't use them.
Yeah, I mean, with skullpiercer being back, there's a lot of people talking about you might see longbows in comp play. You might start seeing longbows in.
You're gonna run out of ammo though. Like,
that's the thing, is because the ammo stacks suck. So like you got to be really careful about it. And it's really
curious about that decision.
Like if I'm running a longbow or a sentinel, I can't tell you how many times we fought a squad, won the fight. No one's running sniper. I've got like 8 rounds left. And it's like, what is this?
You have to swap.
I have to swap. I now have to swap for a long range weapon because my secondary is probably an R9.
Yep.
Almost all the time.
That's part of the scouts viability. That was, to me, a shadow buff to the scout when they excluded it from the sniper class and made it an AR. It would not have been viable at all with the sniper changes. And I don't know, I'd be really curious to have a conversation. We should write down some of these questions, because it'd be nice to get into the head of one of the developers and the designers of the game and see why they're making these decisions, because they admit it right there. You can see it with the scout. There's not enough bullets to run a sniper. So either in their minds, sniper rifles like the triple take, maybe the Sentinel, and definitely the longbow are very strong and dangerous in their eyes. Whereas the scout, they're admitting that it needs bullets. Like you just need fuel for these guns.
Yeah, it brings me back to season 2 when the longbow was the bane of all of our existence, and you never ran across a single squad who wasn't running a longbow with skullpiercer and just absolutely fucking people up from like the bones in Skull Town or like the height.
You usually back then you had to have a skullpiercer in your team, or sorry, a longbow in your team.
Right? Yeah, and it's like I think they knee-jerk reactioned the buff to that when it first happened, and it was still running heavy rounds, and you just didn't see it that often. And then they're like, you know what, double fuck you, longbow, we're gonna go down to your sniper ammo now, so you're not even running heavy. Like there's no synergy there anymore. It's like you have to rethink your entire toolkit around if you're gonna run a sniper. It's crazy. What do you guys think about the Mastiff versus the Peacekeeper?
I love the change. It like freshens it up. The Mastiff is I think it's fun to use, and I don't know, it feels interchangeable to me. Like it's a different gun, obviously, but it's still a shotgun. It still does massive damage. But there's like small differences between the Mastiff and PK, where like, for example, with the Mastiff, you can aim down sights to get an instant spread increase, whereas you couldn't have done that with a PK. Maybe with a choke if you waited like 3 seconds. But
yeah,
I think it's a great change. Like I really like it. It's just like the PK though, being in the care package doesn't feel that interesting though, because looking at the patch notes, they didn't increase the damage numbers. They just made the projectile hitbox bigger.
Yeah, they reverted that change they made. What about you, Boom? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm a little bit like confused about the change. It does feel fresh, like day 3 using the Mastiff. I think it feels a little bit more like a shotgun to me, like a balanced shotgun in their minds because of the horizontal projectile spread. Whereas the Peacekeeper was kind of a star. So if you're centered on somebody, you're going to be hitting most of that star with the Peacekeeper. But with the Mastiff, because it's horizontal, you also need to be close to them, or at least ADS'd. Like you need to be aiming down sights for the spread to be hitting. So I'm noticing a lot more of it being a shotgun runner's gamble, where are you right on top of them and accurate, you're rewarded. Whereas if you're a little bit too far and maybe missing by a little bit, you are punished. So in that regards, maybe it is a little bit more balanced.
Because you have the Eva still.
Yeah.
Like, this might be the Eva's time to shine then.
Yeah. People are liking the Eva.
Yeah, Jokey's been running the Eva. He keeps asking us, if you find an Eva, let me know. Like, yeah.
Run Eva.
The one thing I'm noticing the most about the Mastiff versus having a PK too is the delay with a Mastiff without the choke. It's crazy. Like the timing is way slower.
Yeah.
Like
more deliberate.
Yeah, I mean honestly, like having a Mastiff without a choke is fucking terrible.
You mean bolt?
Or bolt, yes, excuse me. Yeah, without a bolt on it, it's nutty. The night and day difference between a purple bolt Mastiff versus no bolt Mastiff. And I've run the PK maybe twice since they made it a gold drop only. And honestly, like the one time I ran it, I was like, this feels the same. It's just a normal shotgun. Why did I even pick this thing up? And then another time I used it, I only hit people for 120, and like I just absolutely destroyed 2 different squads for a pub game, and I was like, this is nutty. So I don't know. I feel like I haven't used the new Peacekeeper enough to really say whether or not it's good, but it doesn't feel gold weapon good. Like I used to get excited, and I still do, when I find a Kraber or I find a Devo. But when I see the PK there, I just kind of look at it and I'm like, and I just move on. You know, like I just leave it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way, honestly. I'm just happy that Mastiff is not the package anymore. I know it's a bit weaker. It's just a fun, whether or not it's stronger than the PK or not, it's just a fun weapon to use at the end of the day for me.
Yeah, I mean, the Mastiff prior to this patch was dumb. Like it was insanely good. Like when people like would push us, especially like in rank, so you know that it's like a competent team. When they would push us and we knew they had a Mastiff, I was like, I'm in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, like I would get hit for 200 plus sometimes.
Yeah,
I'd have full armor, full health, and I'd just boom, I'm dead. Like I've done that to other people in ranked where I hit them for 180 plus in the head, and they've done it to me, and I felt bad when I did it to them, and I felt even worse when they did it to me. So it's like,
I don't know. I think Care Package Mastiff was quote unquote balanced though. I mean, it's a freaking care package weapon, you know? Like I don't know.
True. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it was a little nutty that it would just like be the only gun that could one shot you
right
that consistently at close quarters. You know, it's not a Kraber where you get sniped in the head and it's like, okay, pick them up as fast as you can or fend off.
Right. That's true.
The push.
Yeah, because with the Mastiff, you're already there. Like the enemy is already there right at you. Whereas if someone lands a headshot Kraber, they likely have to run to get to you to follow up. So yeah, sometimes.
Yep.
What about the Wingman?
So
I like the changes with skullpiercer, honestly.
Yeah, I've been running Wingman a lot. I mean, I always usually do. It's just a satisfying, fun weapon. But now that skullpiercer is back, it's otherworldly good to hit a headshot with it. It just feels so good. Now that no regs are fixed too, I'm gonna only run Wingman if I find one. Like if I find a Wingman, I'm picking it up. I don't care if we're playing ranked or whatever it is. That's the only gun for me now. It's so good now.
Yeah, I'm very curious to experience the new no reg servers. I think I hopped off right before they actually patched the server side, client side problems of the no regs. But yeah, the Wingman's like so fun to run. The skullpiercer is very nostalgic. I'm surprised that they brought it back. But yeah, it's probably going to be part of my auto include when we're going to be playing ranked this season.
100%.
My favorite change, though. Well, okay, not my favorite, but like of the weapon side of things, I know it's not a weapon, but gold armor being changed is probably my favorite change. Like,
yes,
it's so good. Like, I mean, it's good. Like, it's a good change. Like, not only like I don't even want to call it a nerf because I think honestly, it's great. Like having small heals be able to heal double is fantastic. You know, and sure, I'm fine with losing 50% heal speed because I think that was just too strong. And honestly, being able to pop a Phoenix kit in 3.5 seconds like that's just disgusting. And being able to pop a bat to get full shields back in front of someone in like a second, I thought that was just too strong. I think what they did to it was perfect. Like great. I love gold armor.
In some ways too, it's an overall buff to your inventory and healing too. Because when I had gold armor in the past and I was like maybe down to like one bat and like 5 or 6 cells, I would find myself healing faster, but then it's like I'm out of heals. But now it's like I don't have the same time necessarily, even though I kind of still do. I've got more cells as a result. I don't have to hit a bat. I just hit a cell, and that's 50 health more.
It honestly fixed the inventory. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I completely agree. Like the inventory change that they made, I think the gold armor change should have come with it. But I understand if they were still play testing it or whatever. But it makes more sense now, and I'm way happier with it.
100%.
But the point I was about to make, it's kind of like low key. It's a buff to lifeline. If anything,
yes, that's Gibby and Gibby, right?
Sure. With the dome, sure,
yeah, the fast deal,
yeah,
disgusting.
I've got to believe that there's like a little bit of tongue-in-cheek humor, from the developers in how when you would see a lifeline running gold armor before, you'd go like, how greedy is that lifeline to keep the gold armor from her team? Whereas now, if you see it in the inverse, it's just like, wow, this team is clueless. That's clearly more powerful on the lifeline.
Right.
Like, I've got to believe that they, I don't know.
There was a few times
they know the humor
before this patch boom where we shot a lifeline who had gold armor and ranked, and we were like, oh fuck,
oh shit,
they all got gold.
They all have gold then. No way they're dumb enough to let the lifeline steal it.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. There was one game in particular we played where I remember you were like, I shot the lifeline, she's got gold, and I went, oh fuck,
run. Honestly, hats off to the devs for thinking of that change, because the RE45, the alternator, they're underpowered. I mean, adding more bullets, that's a pretty obvious way to make something stronger. But with the gold armor, that wasn't even on my radar. I just knew I was unhappy with it. Just the disrespect of somebody hitting a Phoenix in your face, going, okay, kill me. You have a second and a half, and then I'm going to kill you. It's just, that was so problematic for the game and so unhealthy for the meta, and it was just not fun for the competitive scene. It just seemed like such a pure solution. It wasn't a nerf. It was just like a lateral change. It's just better now. It's clever.
I would call it a balance change as opposed to a nerf or a buff.
Yeah,
it's all it is. Balance change. Well, I think that's all we got for now. Do you guys have any other input for this episode 2 of the 3 stack?
How
about Loba's ass? You want to talk about Loba's ass?
Has that been? We're gonna have a whole episode dedicated to that.
Okay. I feel like it's been beaten.
Wow. No, I guess my closing thought, just because it's so like near and dear to my heart, is it's interesting watching, like, there's Pathfinder had such a high click rate, obviously. Like, what was he running at? Like he was picked the majority of the time.
Oh yeah.
And for teams, and it's definitely interesting. I think in particular, like on my stream, people have been coming to for refuge, for support, to vent or otherwise their frustration. And it's been interesting seeing some suggestions that are good and also some suggestions that are like delusional from Pathy mains. That like they'll find out how bad this nerf is, and I bet they're gonna revert it someday, like like truly off the wall ideas to maybe some that are more balanced, like 35 is just a slap on the wrist, it'll be 25 soon.
Nope.
I don't think the devs have ever walked anything back. So I guess to all my Pathy mains, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's not going to be in the form of like anything changing. It's going to be from within. The Pathfinder is going to have to learn how to persevere because the devs do things on purpose.
Dude, just stop using his grapple to get around the map for fun. Like that's what I gotta do. It's a tactical ability, not a I'm fucking lazy ability.
I preferred being lazy. Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it that way, but it's true. If I, it's cool to be in Wraith's phase, but I'm not like running around the map in her fucking phase.
You're
like,
not phasing through. It's for a moment, and
yeah, exactly.
And although I did try to take advantage of the funness in ranked by rotating wider through areas, that so many times we'll be landing somewhere, and I'll say we've got room here or there. I'm gonna be exposed, but because I'm Pathfinder, I know I'm able to escape anything. That's just not part of it anymore. So adjust accordingly. Grapple on.
I think that's all for us. Thank you guys for listening. If you stuck with us this whole time, really appreciate it. This has been Huge Poner as your host in episode 2 of the 3 Stack. With me is Boom Razzle and Candy Roo, and we'll catch you on the next one.